Yesterday marked the start of the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, an international campaign to highlight and tackle male violence against women. Yesterday was also International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, a day designated by the UN to, again, highlight and tackle male violence against women. A Twitter account, Counting Dead Women, run by campaigner Karen Ingala-Smith, began tweeting a list of every British woman killed by a man, or where a man is the principal suspect, since November 25 last year. From 8 a.m. a woman's name, photograph and the date she was killed was shared every 5 minutes. With at least 90 women killed by men in the past year, the Twitter tributes ran all day. They include women of all ages, from a teenager to an elderly woman killed by her son. It makes for devastating reading, the juxtaposition of these smiling faces set next to the brutality of their lives' ends. Women strangled, shot, dismembered by men they knew and men they had loved. Among the list of women is Grace Millane, a 21-year-old murdered in New Zealand on the eve of her 22nd birthday, a young woman newly graduated and traveling the world. For anyone who has backpacked as a young person, you can so vividly remember it, that sense of everything new and out before you. The 3-week trial of her killer, Jesse Kempson, made international headlines. Of course, it is an international story about a beautiful, white, middle-class young woman, a perfect package for any news editor. New Zealand has reporting restrictions that mean the names of those on trial can be withheld. On sentencing, the judge in the case can make a decision about whether or not to lift the restrictions. These don't apply to overseas media, and so Kempson has been named and pictured by foreign news outlets. Having the killer's privacy protected throughout proceedings lent a particularly skewed feel to the case. That is, skewed towards the accused and away from the victim. Her life and her choices, her photographs and her name were on display. Not his. And, of course, the story was a particularly perfect package for news outlets given its sexual element. The defense case was that Grace, who had been strangled, died accidentally during a sex game gone wrong. The jury had already heard about Kempson's appalling behavior following Grace's death, that he took photographs of her after he had killed her, that he watched porn, that he bought a suitcase in which he would later bury her in the Waitakere Ranges, that he then went on a further Tinder date. The defense case also meant that intimate details of Grace's life were shared in an attempt to build a picture of her as a young woman who would welcome the type of rough sex and strangulation that, Kempson's failed argument ran, accidentally lead to her death. For more on this story, visit the news article link.